Welcome back to the Secret Poker Prologue. Today I have 8 hands for you guys, and it's all about situational awareness. I'm still going through old poker hand histories, so these are from all over the place and over many sessions. I'm hoping to get some live footage soon, so it's not all hand replayers, but it's hard to do that in private games when I'm meant to be hiding in the shadows. Okay, here we go. We're playing 1-3. We're in the big blind. Cutoff makes it 8. Button calls. Big small blind call. We've got ace 8-5 suited, getting a good price, so we call. Flop comes ace king deuce with the ace of spades, and it checks around. Turn comes an offsuit 6. Now small blind checks, and we're going to take that as a time to start bluffing. So we bet 24, which is 75%, because when it checked around on the flop, we've got a good feeling that nobody liked the flop. And in this game, with all fish, only the small blind could have something here, and they could be trapping us. So I decided to start bluffing. This is a bad play in general versus any good player or competent player, as our range doesn't consist of any strong 2 pairs or top pairs. Really, we can only have deuces or 6s for sets, but these fish don't care about ranges. They just play their hand. So cut off and button fold and a small blind call. Right, the river comes an offsuit 3. This is total brick. And when there's small blind checks here with our hand, no showdown, we need to continue our story. So I bet half pot trying to make it look like I've got an ace X or a king X hand, and they fold. Easy game. This hand is a prime example of situational awareness, being aware that when the cutoff was pre-flop raiser and the button both check the flop, they're saying that they have nothing, and we can take advantage of that on turns that don't help their ranges. So especially here where we hit a 6, it's not come a big card, a pitch card. It's come like a lowish. We can rep that because we know it doesn't interact with their range. And when they check the flop and the turn, when they check the flop and fold the turn, obviously we're pretty confident they don't have any strong ace or king X. In the small blind, checking flop and turn, we're pretty happy that they've got a weak hand. So yeah, we just decide to blast here and it works out. Okay, in this hand, we're playing 1, 2, 5. We are on the button, and we've got the button straddle on. I don't often button straddle, even though it is the best way to straddle, as it optimizes being in position for the hand, but I just always straddle under the gun. So the small blind, big blind, under the gun, and the cutoff all cool. And here we're going to check our hand. When we have this hand, we're really like dominated when checked too. So, you know, it's a hand that flops well. Let's just play in position. Flop comes king, queen, 6 with 2 diamonds. Goes check, 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 and the cutoff bets 25, which is half pot. We call, and all the others fold. So when the cutoff bets here, they're saying that they have a weak king or queen X, or they have a flush draw. They could also have jack 10, but we're blocking that. But I think most of their king and queen X would raise pre, so instantly my thoughts here are they have a flush draw. There are a lot of good turns for our hand. Any ace or 9 will make us the nuts. We're blocking a lot of king and queen X, so we're cool. 75 pound in the pot. The turn comes the 4 of spades, which brings another flush draw, and the cutoff bet's 25 again, which is a 3rd pot now. This instantly screams to me that they're weak, this sizing. This feels like a blocker bet that wants to see a river for cheap, which a flush draw would do, in my opinion. If he had a king X here, I think he'd be sizing up, especially with a second flush draw coming in. And I think a lot of queen X hands, even though there are 2 flush draws and they want to like equity denial, I think a lot of queen X would just check here and play rivers. Again, this is a fish I'm playing against, so they're not thinking about equity denial, but still. Our hand here feels like a perfect candidate to start raising as a bluff, because we unblock flush draws, we block all the strong king and queen X hands, and if we call, we still have outs to the nuts. But I decide to call here, thinking that I'm getting a good price to see river, and I can bluff on a lot of bricks. And it comes a brick, the 3 of clubs. He checks, and this is lining up perfectly. It's a perfect spot for us to bluff. We can get hands to fold pair plus flush draws, so I bet 80, which is about 65% pot, and he snap folds. Again, just being aware of the situation, a bit of size intel on the turn as well. Easy game. Okay, in this hand, we're playing 5, 10, 20, and we are under the gun, or in the cutoff, and we open to 50 with pocket fours. Big blind and undergun both cool. So £155 in the middle, flop comes queen 6, 5 rainbow. All over cards. So it goes check, check, check. Okay, see a turn, comes an offsuit 8, and it goes check, check, check again. Perfect river. Comes an ace, checks to us, we bet pot, they all fold. Easy. This hand played itself. I think when both players check 3 times, they're saying that they don't have a strong hand. We river an ace. That's really good for our range. We get to bluff. So I choose this size in because it puts a lot of pressure on their hero calling hands, any 8 or 6x. And we don't want to give them a decent price to get sticky with them hands. And it looks to them like we've hit the card we want, and we want to get the maximum, so works out. This is an interesting one, playing 1-2 at a casino this time. I won't say which one. We open to 8 with pocket 10s. Button is a visibly drunk fish who I've been watching, and he's been overvaluing his hands. So he calls, and now a random in the big blind 3 bets to 40. And based off a couple of things I've seen from him, I have a good indication that he's a studied player and isn't a fish. So we can either 4-bet, which will scare off the drunk fish, or we can call in position to the random, drag the fish into the pot. And that's what I do. And he calls, and we go to a flop. 121, the flop comes 3, 4, 5, rainbow. The random checks. We check. The fish leads 30. The random calls. Our hand's a bit under rep to this point, so we call. 211 in the middle, turn comes an offsuit 8. The random checks. We check. And the fish leads for small again. Now, the random calls. And this tells me 2 things. 1, the fish has a weak value hand, or is potentially drawing to a straight. And 2, the random has a strong hand that seems scared multi-way. All of his sets, straights, and overpairs should raise the flop or the turn, especially as he wants to get heads up versus drunk well. But he just calls, and I think that this would be in the point in the hand that he would fold his overcards like ace king or ace queen. So I'm pretty confident that he's not happy with his hand, and we can take advantage of that. Now we can raise here to take advantage of that right now, but I decide to just call. 361 in the middle, and the river comes on offsuit 7. Now this is a pretty horrible card for everyone. Any 6x that was straight in now makes an obvious straight. There's a lot of like straighty 2-pair hands for the drunk fish. It's going to have a lot of like some 8-7s, some 7-5s, some 4-5s, etc. And my plan here is to fold if the random puts any money into this pot. And I'm just hoping that the drunk fish bets overvaluing his hand, and somehow this gets a random to fold. So big blind checks, we check, and now the drunk fish bets 75. Now this is only 20% of the pot, so it's tiny, and if by some miracle the big blind folds, so we're getting 6-1 on a call. We only have to be right 15% of the time, And this is the exact scenario that we wanted to happen. So we call. The fish table's ace-8 off. We show and we win. And then the big blind starts complaining and shows that he folded jacks. His hand feels like a bit of a dodged bullet because we didn't 4-bet the random pre and we didn't raise flop or turn. So we've played a passive align, being aware that the big blind has a strong range and that the button would overvalue his hands, and it works out perfectly for us. Back at the casino, I won't say what won. And as you can see, we don't have the 5 straddle on. I'm normally a max straddle kind of guy, but here it's nitty Uncle Central, so I'm just going to be playing straightforward, easy poker. We're playing 1-2, we open back jacks to 7. We get called by the hijack, small blind and big blind, £28 in the pot. The flop comes king, queen, 4, rainbow. Check, check. Checks to us. We can bet this flop with our range and nut advantages, but again, I'm just going to be playing my hands pretty straightforward multi-way versus these uncles. So we check. Hijack bets 20, which is 2/3 pot. The big blind call. And we fold. Hand over. Done. That's it. It's all about being aware. And when a casino uncle bets 2/3 pot into 3 players and gets called, jack going to the nut. Easy game. Same session, same uncles, same rules. Playing 1-2-5, 7-handed, low jack limps. We open red 10s to 20. The button, the 5 and the low jack will call. £83 in the middle. Comes ace, queen, 8 rainbow. The 5 straddle, donk leads for 30. Low jack calls, we fold. Done. Different session, same casino, I won't say what won. And same uncles. Playing 1-2, we open black jacks to 7. This feels like deja vu. The low jack calls, the cut-off fish makes it 20. We call, and the low jack folds. We can 4-bet here, but when an uncle 3-bets my under the gun open, it's normally a strong range. So effectively we decide to flatten set mine. £50 in the middle comes 9, 10, 3, 2 diamonds. We check. The cut-off bets 35, which is quite big. It's 70% of the pot. Our hand is undervalued. We do have an overpair. We do have a backdoor straight draw. So, you know, it's okay here to peel one off. So we do. 120 in the middle comes a deuce, offsuit deuce, big brick. We check, and the cut-off bet's 80, which is 2/3 pot. Pause the video and tell me, what would you do in this spot? And alarm bells are ringing. So we follow the rules and we fold. I think that here the only hand that they can have that we are beating is ace 10 suited, which there's only 3 combos of. Ace king of diamonds or ace queen of diamonds. Everything else I think we're losing to. So, you know, when they're betting this big into us, I'm just gonna play my hand straightforward and fold. Okay, so here's a fun one, saving the best for last. And this is going to look pretty standard, but it's not. So we're in a private game with a stand-up game. For anyone that doesn't know what a stand-up game is, everybody stands up, or in this case, we put buttons in front of us. So if I say they have a button, it means they stood up. If you win a hand, you table your hand, and you sit down or lose your button. And the last person standing has to pay everybody a bounty. In this game, we're doing 25 a man. So if you lose, you have to pay £175 out. We have Mr. Host on our right. He is an aggressive, good player, and he is stood up. On my left is Perfect. Perfect is the ideal player to play against. He's a cooling station who overvalues all his hands and bluffs like mad. He's also stood up, and we are sat down. We're playing 1, 2, 5, 10. Folds to Mr. Host, who opens to 50. And this is where we're going to use our situational awareness to get the maximum. So I know that if I free bet, Perfect is going to fold most of his hands, and Mr. Host will probably give up, especially as we're sat down and we're not incentivized to free bet. If I was standing up, I could free bet a lot more because I'm going to have more bluffs, because I'm incentivized to do that so that I can win the hand and sit down. But because I am sat down, they all know that I should be taking passive lines to let them bluff to try and sit down. So they know I want to play passively to try and catch their punts. So free betting here is not a good idea because it just scares everyone off. I also know that if I just flat here, Perfect is going to jam a lot to try and win the pot and sit down or go heads up and flip. And if he does that, that's going to incentivize Mr. Host to jam his hands so that he can get heads up with a weaker range, so he has a better chance of sitting down. So we just call. Obviously, Perfect jams. Folds to Mr. Host. He jams. We snap call. Bang. Run it once. Flop comes king high and comes jack jack. And we don't actually end up winning. Perfect actually had ace jack here and goes runner runner to win the main pot. But we do win a nice side pot versus Mr. Host to make up for it. So I think Perfect got about 800 quid, 750, and we got about 900 quid. And yeah, looks pretty standard, just get it in and play the hand. But actually, there's a lot that was going on that we have to be aware of to make sure we end up getting his hand in good. And had we free bet pre-flop, knowing what Mr. Perfect had, he probably would have got it in, and Mr. Host might have got it in as well, but unlikely. We could have just ended up getting it heads up versus Mr. Perfect, and which is good for us, but results orientated, we would have lost. So we've played it the best way to get both of them in to win the maximum. The cards are down, but the story's just getting started. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, stay sharp, and never show them your full hand.